Hello, everyone. In this episode, we'll look at StreamLit. It's an interactive web application. It's called StreamLit. It's a Python library that turns ordinary scripts into web apps. No HTML, no JavaScript, no web development experience needed. You write a Python, and StreamLit serves as your web page. All right. Okay. Let's go to the code. Okay, so here is Streamlit and why we use the Cloudflare tunnel. So the Colab runs on a remote virtual machine. So Streamlit starts a local web server. The port is not exposed to the internet. We need a tunnel to forward the external traffic to the port. Cloudflare tunnel creates a temporary public URL that routes this host. And it's free, it requires no account, and reliably serves all of Streamlit static JavaScript files like this. Okay, so we'll use that. So this is kind of a boilerplate feature. You can just copy it. So first, let's go and set up our OpenAI API key. Okay, and install all this Cloudflare and all these libraries. Okay, so that's done. So it takes a few seconds to start up. So if you open Cloudflare tunnel before Streamlit is ready, we maybe get 5 or 2 bad gateway error. Just count to 10 and then open up that web page, web link whenever we do it. Okay. So here is wait for Streamlit, and then so here. So uh, so the app here for what we do is that we write so something like the Python code. So it's a app.py. So we write it here. The percent write file magic is a Jupyter Colab feature that writes contents of the cell to the disk instead of executing them. And then we launch, the cell kills any previously running Streamlit process and start a new app.py in the background and calls wait for Streamlit to confirm the server is healthy. And then the tunnel, the cell starts a Cloudflare, prints the public URL, which you click. Again, count to 10 because you may be clicking too fast. When you're done, press stop button and the tunnel cell. Okay. So the tunnel cells keeps running until you stop manually. So the public URL changes every time you restart the tunnel. Okay, so anyway, so let's start from the very basic wind. So here the st title renders the large heading at the top of the title. St right is the text. And then st metric renders a big number on optional delta indicator, useful for showing the stock prices and things like this. So st title, st right, and st metric. Okay, so let's see how that works out. So launch the cell, kill Streamlit, existing one, and then start a new app here. So this is here. And then the output is directed here, so you can do this. Okay, so all right. Okay, so now let's open Cloudflare. And now you can see that. So I'm counting to 10. And then we basically writes what was in that Python file written. Okay, this is the title, this is the text, and these are kind of the numbers. All right, so I turn it off and shut it down. Okay, so that was the beginning. So the part of 10.2 builds a real tool. It's a financial calculator with 4 models: future value, present value, monthly loan payment, and compound interest. So it introduces 2 key widgets. The ST selection box gives the user drop down to pick which calculation they want, and ST number inputs creates a numeric input box with increment and decrement button. And the compound result is displayed in the ST matrix. So here's the important concept of the Streamlit. Every time the user changes any widget, Streamlit reruns the entire script from top to bottom, and the widget function returns the current values. So downstream calculations update automatically, and there are no callbacks, no event handlers, and so forth. Just write the straight line Python and it works. For the compound interest mode, we use the second selection box that iterates over dictionaries items, and each option carries a display name and numeric frequency. So let's see how that works out. So There's a title and the selection box and the markdown. And then here, so for each of these options, we have these kind of things. All right, STmetrics, STWrite, the calculator. So this is like written at the app.py. And then again, the StreamLit, kill old ones and then start the new ones. And then we tunnel it through the Cloudflare. Again, I'll count to 10 and then run. So here's like, again, you have a couple of things, future value, present value. You can increase or decrease, and it updates. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is loan amortization dashboard. It combines input, computation, data tablets, charts, and file downloads in one dashboard. So as the column splits a page into side-by-side columns, so the three inputs, some like principal rate and term sit in a row instead of stacking vertically. And then the code computes monthly payment using annuity formula. The loops through each month build the amortization schedule. Each iteration computes the interest portion and the principal portion. The data's ST data frame renders the schedule as a scrollable, sortable table. Okay. And the ST line chart plots the balance decline over time, and a second chart showing how principal and interest payments cross over. In the earliest, you pay mostly interest. In the later years, mostly principal. And then the ST download button lets you export the full schedules in the CSV file. Okay, so it's a nice feature that you actually can save files and all this. So again, title, and here column 1, 2, 3, and you have these things with default values. And then you can do the amortization. All right. And here's a data frame and the download button, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so here you go. So again, the same thing. The StreamLit screen, erase the old one, get the new one, and then tunnel through Cloudflare. Again, count to 10. And you can change it. And then comes the amortization schedule and the balance over time, principal and interest, and you can download it, okay? All right, so it's saved here. Okay, so now we know how to save it. Now is the session state. So what this does is that it addresses a fundamental Streamlit problem because the script reruns every time interaction. All Python variables are destroyed at the end of each turn. If the user computes a loan payment and changes the rate, then the old result is gone. To fix this, there's a session state, okay? It's a dictionary that persists across and reruns within the same browser session. The standard pattern, check if your key exists. If not, initialize it. App here lets users to build and compare multiple loan scenarios. You set the input, click Save the scenario, and then result is appended to the list stored in the session state. Change the inputs and save again, and so forth. So this section also introduces the ST text input. Okay, here. For the scenario names, there's ST slider for the long term, and ST button, and ST rerun forces an immediate rerun. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so here all the new button rerun and session states here. All right, and let's see how it works. And Cloudflare here, count to 10. So here's scenario 1, and maybe I do this, and then just half the term. So save that scenario. Here's scenario 1 being here, and then I do another one with a longer maturity, save this scenario, is scenario 2, and I can clear this scenario. Oh, so this is how it works. So this keeps track of the past. Now we have ChatGPT, so chat with an LLM. So now we use the long chain. So we create 3 files. Um, LLM util.py is the utility module that reads the model settings from the YAML configuration and returns a long chain chat OpenAI object. API key comes from the OpenAI key environment variable and so forth. The main app uses 2 StreamLit components. The stchat input renders the text box pinned to the bottom of the line page, and the stchat message is the context message that wraps the context in a chat bubble in the right avatar. Okay, so you'll see that in a minute. The conversation history is stored in a session state. So list of long chain message objects, human message for the user, AI message for the assistant. On each rerun for a loop, replay all previous messages so full conversation is visible. When the user submits a question, it prepend the system message that tells the LLM act as finance tutor or call LLM invoke with the full message list. And so anyway, the profile name is passed onto the command line argument. StreamLit run app.py by default and switch to models. Add another entry in LLM's YAML and pass that name instead. Okay, so that's how to run the chatbot basically. So here's the util LLM py. So this is for the LLM. So set it up LLM. Okay. And then here is the get the LLM and the chatbot, the system prompt, message, and here. All right. So this is our chatbot. And then let's see what it does. Okay, counting to 10. This takes a while. So finance chat assistant powered by this. Okay, and what do we have here? Well, you can make it dark, you can make it system, all kind of things. So here's a finance question. What is ETF? Oops, what's happening? Uh, what did I push? What is ETF? And then the LLM responds. Okay. Okay. Name few famous ETFs. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay, so this is how it's being run. Okay. So now the multimodal chat. Okay. So it handles images. So it can accept, like the GPTs can accept both text and images. The ST sidebar creates a collapsible panel on the left. Put the file uploader there to keep main chat area clean, and file uploader lets the user pick an image file, upload it, bytes are stored in session state so they survive the reruns. So when the user submits a question with an image loaded, the code base 64 encoders the image and packages it as a content list with 2 parts. The text part with the question and image URL part with the encoded data. All right, so can upload it. So here we go. So here's the LM util, and here's the title, caption, and the system prompt we give. Okay, and here's the session state and our sidebar. Okay, and load the image and here. Okay, so this is our app. and then we run it. Okay. So something's loading. Okay, multimodal finance assistant. So upload, and my guess is I wanna be GenAI, StreamLit. 26 and class notes and StreamLit. I thought I had some. Let me cancel it and actually go to GitHub. Um, Repositories. And I must have generated some figures here. Okay, so maybe I don't. Then maybe I can go to Dropbox and mm, all files. I think I saved some. Okay, so let's download this one. Finance infographic. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so let's upload. Go to downloads. And infographic. Let's open this. Okay, and then let's ask a question. How does the market outlook? It's a strong bullish trend. Okay, so it actually interpreted this figure. Okay, and you can of course clear the image. I guess you have to do this, and then yeah, okay, and this here. Okay. So in summary, we basically looked at various ways of having the user interface with buttons, save the file, link the ChatGPT, and even with images. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for watching this episode.